Good evening to everyone. My name is Paola. Welcome to Mindalia TV Livestream, where thousands of people around the world gather daily to watch the interviews and talks organized by MindaliaTV.com. Angel Revo, entrepreneur and CEO consultant, philanthropist, and host of Mindalia TV, will conduct today's interview. It is our pleasure to introduce to you our guest today, Mr. Swami Sadashiva Tirtha, who is a monk, speaker, and spiritual guide. Swami shows people how they can create daily miracles by learning how to talk to, listen, and follow the advice of their angels and intuition. He has 4+ decades of teaching meditation, yoga, Ayurveda, and he was born shaman and healing, as well as a psychic and a medium or channel. If you would like to help us and help the world through Mindalia, there's a couple of things you can do that can make a huge difference to many people. Just by liking this video or adding a positive comment below on the screen, you're helping us reach to even more people who can benefit from the information that Mindalia provides. To allow your interaction, please remember there is a chat on the side of your screen. Through the one you can ask the questions you would like to our guest, and he'll answer to you kindly at just to follow. Without any further delay, please welcome Angel Revo.
Hi, Paula. How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Great. Thank you. Great to be here.
Perfect. And our guest, Swami, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. Joy.
Perfect. So, Angel, the time is yours. Go ahead. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Hey, thank you very much, Paola, for your wonderful introduction. I'm so thrilled and super excited to have Swami with us tonight. Swami, hey, how are you?
Oh, it's always a joy to be with you, Angel. Thanks for having me here.
Thank you. Absolutely. So, it's going to be an amazing interview. There's so many things I want our audience to be able to know about you. So let's start. Let's start with a very simple question. What is your number one passion in your life, Swami?
Number one passion in life is connecting with my angels, connecting with my intuition, connecting with nature, connecting with spirit, connecting with God. All that to me is just about the same thing. Being at one, alive, that's life for me.
And how do you do it? How do you connect with your angels, Swami?
Well, basically, after many years of training myself, it's really just talking and listening and setting some parameters that, how do I know if it's you, angels, talking to me, or if it's me making things up in my head, and saying, okay, from now on, it came from trying and experiencing that when the angels gave me some suggestions, they were way better suggestions about my life than what I thought I wanted. And so I started to trust them based on past experience. And then it got to the point I said, okay, whatever I think I'm hearing, that's you guys. And if I'm wrong, you got to fix it. But I want to be sincere. This is the one path I'm going to be on. And that's kind of a couple of steps in the process.
All right. You said that it took a few years for you to learn how to, listen to your angels. Is that right?
And it's still going on. It's like love. It always grows deeper. It's not like you say to your spouse, okay, I love you. That's it. We're done. We checked out. We're going autopilot. Love grows deeper all the time. And hearing the love of the angels, the joy of the angels, the ability to have more childlike joy and more celebration in our lives and share that with others, it goes deeper. And the more they say, hey, there's new stuff that's happening because the world is getting brighter and lighter. It's the age of celebration. We have brand new information for the world. Wouldn't you like to hear some of that? So yeah, so I'm saying, let me hear it more clearly. Let me see it more clearly. So it's life is growth. So yes.
And do you think that's something that's would you call it a skill that that we can, any human being can actually cultivate and learn?
Yeah, we're all born with intuition, and we use it in our own ways. The mother's intuition is there with her baby. The CEO who has the most intuition is the most successful. The pianist who has intuition to create music like crazy is using their intuition. So yeah, and it's something we all have, and that's the value. That's the reason I have my show, is to show people how it's done, how people like you use your intuition to change your life for the miraculous better. Yes.
So what does it? That's a very interesting topic. So you just mentioned the word, excuse me, miracle. So
Right.
what's the relationship between using your intuition and maybe experiencing miracles?
Yes, well, we grew up more or less in a culture that's very, the straightest line between 2 points, the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, logic, rational. But even like Einstein says this, we can't solve our problems from where we've created them. We have to go beyond logic and reason. And that's where our intuition tells us something's not right, or better yet, this is a really better way. It makes no sense, but do it. So that, and when you do that, that's when the miracles come in.
Okay. So you said that everybody is born with that intuition.
Yes.
Do we kind of, lose it over time? Do we have to relearn it? How does that really go? What's your experience? Because you obviously deal with a lot of people about this, right?
Sure. The answer sort of depends on the era you were born in. In my era, I was born in the late 50s, mid 50s. And so it was pretty much either ignored or drummed out of us. Even today, some parents are afraid when their children have psychic gifts or intuitive gifts, or they see the answers in the air and the teacher yells at them for not working it out on paper. So there is some of the cultural bias that it has to be this other way for who knows what reason. And so when it's not recognized, children start to put it away and shut themselves down a little bit. But it's a lot different. When I first got into the meditation in 1972, 73, 74, somewhere in there, it was brand new in this country, in the United States, and probably for most of the world. We heard the Beatles went to India to meditate, and that was really all we knew. And now there's yoga on every corner. There's meditation on the internet. There's Mindalia. For goodness sakes, they're doing a beautiful job educating people. And it's quite a different world. So it's a lot easier for the younger children. And the younger children, a lot of them are being born with these gifts that are just really blowing the minds of what we thought is possible. So the children are being born miracles, literally.
And is there something that we can do as parents? I mean, I still have a few kids in school age. I'm sure that there's plenty of, among the millions of viewers in Mindalia, we probably have a lot of parents or, people that have, grandsons, grandkids, nieces, nephews, etc. What would you say? What could we do? What could we, just maybe a little piece of advice based on your experience? What could we do to listen more to those kids that have those blessings?
Parents ask me this all the time. The good parents, meaning the ones that are open, I should say, that's not a great choice of words, good, but the parents who are open to their children, they say, my child is gifted, intuitive, is psychic. How can I help them? And the biggest answer is go take a class in intuition and reawaken your intuition. Because when your child is talking to you empathically without words, but you've got that door closed, you've got the earplugs in. Go open them up again, and your child will go, oh my God, somebody gets me. So there's one way. Take them to classes and also help them eat healthy foods, organic, fresh, whole grains, whole fruits and vegetables. Switch from white sugar and white bread to whole cane sugars and whole wheat breads, whole grain breads. So it's a combination of health and training and lots and lots and every way you can give love, and those are the few of the more important ones.
We're speaking about a very important subject now, and we have a lot, a big part of our audience really, really like aware and concerned about what food, what we eat, what we take into our bodies, and I think that you learn a little bit, or you studied a little bit about that, and actually not only that, but you also published one of the most comprehensive books that exists really today about the matter. Could you please tell us what I'm talking about?
Well, it's funny you should mention that, because there is this book here. It's called the Ayurveda Encyclopedia, and there's like 30,000 copies in print in the United States. It's an international #1 bestseller for many years. And I have some really great news for anyone who speaks Spanish. The book will be coming out in Spanish in multiple, this is 600-700 pages. They're going to come out with volumes, and they'll be coming out later this year into early next year. So the Ayurvedic system that I love so much for so many reasons, it's very personal. So what I mean by that, Angel, is instead of saying everybody eat vegetables because they're healthy, well, some people will not feel good if they eat, say, broccoli. They'll get more gas. And other people do just well with it, just fine with it. So it personalizes by element, air, fire, and water. And some people are air, and broccoli's air, so that already have too much air, don't have any air foods. You can have vegetables, but don't have air vegetables. Fire people have too much fire, like a heat rash or something like that. Stay away from hot spices. Water people tend to fluids, so edema or congestion. Stay away from the watery foods and have the other foods, because heat dries the water, air dries the water. Air cools the fire, water cools the fire. So it brings a balance. And that way it just, in terms of as we want to honor who we are individually, Ayurveda helps us and shows that it's we go from healing to prevention, even to rejuvenation in spiritual herbs and foods. They actually talk about that.
Wow, so that's what the book is about.
Yes, yes, everything.
Wow.
From herbs and foods, lifestyles, colors and aromas, which sports are better for your constitution, which types of massage, which yoga poses, which colors, which mantras, which gems, on and on and on.
Wow, no wonder it's a few hundreds of pages. Swami. So what would you say? I had heard, the concept, the term Ayurveda many times, but I had never been in front of someone that has that incredible amount of knowledge about it. So if you could, let's say, imagine that I'm just one of your, potential, clients or person that you are helping or servicing. So how would the conversation go? How would you try to help one of the viewers of Mindalia, besides reading the book? What would be the conversation that you would have with them?
Sure. Well, first is Ayurveda means life science. So
life science.
The science, it sounds soft because we're talking about herbs and mantras and foods, but it's actually scientific. And by that, I mean, you try it and it works virtually every time. Now, not for everybody, nothing works for everybody, but for a large group of people, Ayurveda really works. And it's called the mother science. And that's because it nurtures you with what's missing instead of suppressing it with drugs or cutting it with surgery. And so, for example, if you have, let's say you have brittle bones, let's say, okay, osteoarthritis. We say in Ayurveda that's excess air, too much air in the body. Well, there's no reason to take drugs to suppress the pain. All you have to do is give the body what's missing, which is warmth and moisture. And it heals itself very quickly. You could give herbs also that heal the bones, that give moisture and warmth back to the bones. And something like that, osteoarthritis, within 3 days, people are actually feeling better between the herbs and the foods. It's quite amazing. So in a lot of the cases, you feel better within minutes to days, absolutely. So that's one of the beautiful things about Ayurveda.
And can you use Ayurveda to help people that have, let's say, degenerative diseases?
My hope, the second half of the encyclopedia is thousands and thousands of diseases, from eye diseases to circulatory, respiratory, on and on and on, tumors and cancers and PMS and just everything for people and for pets too. I've worked with a lot of pets.
even when someone has some sort of bacteria or virus, can Ayurveda also help in those cases?
Yes, there are herbs that are antibacterial, antiviral, absolutely. Now there are certain things that if you let them get too far ahead, then Ayurveda may take if you have, let's put it this way, let's go to the extreme. If your appendix are about to burst, it's not time for Ayurveda. It's time for the doctor for surgery. So Western medicine, Ayurveda honors that for emergency medicine. Ayurveda says there's 6 stages of disease development, and Western medicine technology doesn't even detect it till it hits the 5th stage. So, by show of hands, if you who are the audience, if you are listening, how many of you have ever gone to the doctor with a pain and they say, "Oh, you're crazy, it's all in your head"? Just type yes in there and let's see. And what they're saying is they don't detect it, but you detect it because you're intuitive. You know something is off. By the time it hits that 5th stage, it's pretty serious. Ayurveda reverses the process, and the earlier the stage, the quicker it gets reversed.
And that's fascinating. I mean, I have to acknowledge my ignorance, Swami. Thank you so much for sharing. Are there a lot of let's say Ayurvedic practitioners or Ayurveda practitioners or experts like around the country that can be easily found, or in other countries?
Yeah, well, it comes from India, so obviously, and there they take, I think it's 6-year training, and they learn Western medicine and Ayurvedic medicine together. In the United States, it's usually 1 or 2-year program, and it's been around long enough that there are, if you Google Ayurveda in Austin or Ayurveda in Chicago or Ayurveda in Detroit, wherever you live, you'll find at least 1 to many practitioners. Absolutely.
Extraordinary. To link actually both parts of your world, if I am allowed to, Swami, would you say what all this wisdom, Ayurveda wisdom that you hold,
right,
where did it come from?
Well, I started studying in the United States, and then when I would visit my spiritual guru in India every year, he introduced me to several Ayurvedic doctors, and so I would study with them further. I'd sit there with them and watch them take the pulse of the person and tell them what was wrong with them. Like, you have typhoid, go to the doc, go get a test. He'd go to the allopathic, and he had typhoid, and he had the right typhoid type 1, or if somebody says, I think I have I don't know, typhoid, he says, no, your pulse says you don't, but go check it out. And he didn't. Those guys are really super accurate with their pulse taking. And so I studied that way. And then one day I was teaching an Ayurveda certification program, and one of my students was a medical doctor. And he said, why don't you write a book on Ayurveda? And so I got a stack of all the ancient books translated into English, and a stack of the modern books. And I spent 6 years just weaving this whole encyclopedia together. So I learned a lot that way too, but mostly through my clients. So I started practicing in 1988.
Wow, that's a long time ago. Has your intuition helped you to put together all that knowledge and to, go from all those many books that you had on your table at that point in time?
It's a really funny question you asked that. Not ironic funny, I suppose. When I was a child, would get these intuitive dreams at night that I'd be separated from my parents. And that was when I was 7 through 17, and then they were in a car accident, and I lost them when I was 17. And I sort of threw all that away. I didn't think it was a gift to have intuition, and I just shut it all down. And then as I started to practice Ayurveda, that was 15 years later, and I saw I could help people, I allowed the intuition to come back in again, little by little. I sort of was angry at it. I didn't trust it. But little by little, the Ayurveda and the Vedic astrology, those were the things that allowed me to test using that intuition, see if it could be used for good instead of punishment, as I viewed it at the time. It wasn't really, but at the time I viewed it that way. And yes, there are ways in all areas of life. You have a sense about people, and it helps you serve them better. If you want to help people better, your intuition is your best friend. It's like a psychic Sherlock Holmes. You could figure out what's going on with people.
I asked you before what we could do to help kids. to increase their intuition or to keep their intuition throughout their entire lives. And you mentioned maybe taking their parents to an intuition class or a course would be a good idea, so that they realize what it really means. But would you, I mean, obviously parents who are so busy every day, we have so many things to do, we get up early, we have all those many different, activities, initiatives with, ourselves, by ourselves, or with our kids. What would you say? Could you give us a few, a few like hints of things that we could do as adults in this world to ourselves before going to one of those, I'm sure, amazing courses on intuition that we could do on a daily basis to awaken that part of us that it's kind of slept?
Sure. Well, what we could do, if you like, is we could play the game we play on my TV show, Talking with Our Angels. It takes about 20 seconds.
Okay. Oh, please go ahead.
Okay. So everybody watching, all of you at home, wherever you're looking at this, play along. And you just, we'll start by doing an instant meditation. So you put your hand on your heart and think of the biggest challenge you have right now. So if it's wanting to be more intuitive, if it's wanting your child to intuition to grow, if there's, say, maybe there's arguments in the house, or if there's a health condition or a career condition challenge, whatever is the biggest issue, feel it and give it a rating. Like, so 10 would be unbearably troubling. 1 would be it's manageable. And then when you get a number, now think about the person or the place or the thing you love the most. Your spouse, your child, your parent, your dog, music, scenery. And when you have the place, the person you love the most, now take a nice deep breath into your heart. Breathe all that air and love into your heart as you think of that love, and feel your heart expanding. And as you exhale, just release everything that's not love. Just let it go and stay with your love. Now think about the trouble, the issue, the challenge, and then look at it, give it a rating. Did it drop even by a point? If it was an 8, did it go to a 7 or a 3 or a 0? And you can do this once or twice till you get it to a 0. You've cleared it out. It's not the issue. It's how we've perceived the issue that's causing the stress. Now that we're clear, we're going to say this, and you can all say it along with me. Talking to our angels. Here's the game. For the highest good.
For the highest good.
Angels, what is the thing I can do?
Angels, what's the thing I can do?
To help my child become more intuitive.
To help my child become more intuitive.
And to help me become more intuitive.
And to help me become more intuitive.
Let's take a 5 seconds of silence and see what we think about or feel or see. All right, so first thing that came to your mind, Angel, whether you heard something or saw something or thought something or knew something.
You're like putting me on the spot, Swami. It was light. Actually, it was light.
Light.
It was light.
So you saw light.
I saw a very powerful light coming to me.
Beautiful. And how would you interpret that?
Well, we're surrounded by light. I would say the first thing that comes to my mind is, how do I read it? How do I how to translate that when I see that light? Am I fully conscious of that, what that light means in my life every day? So I would say probably I have a certain level of enlightenment, or my kid has it. And maybe I have to use that light. I have to allow that light to go through my life or my kid's life more. I mean, I don't know. I mean, just...
Yeah, I mean, what I would get from that for you is take 20 seconds out of your busy day everywhere you can. When you wake up in the morning, angels, show me the light. And then just sit in it till it fades, and then go about your day. And if you're feeling things are a little bit tense, who doesn't have 20 seconds? That was 5 seconds, honestly. That wasn't even 20 seconds. And just say, okay, angels, show me the light, and then get that light again. Or you could just keep it more non-direct and say, what can I do right now to help myself and my children grow in intuition? Because it could change. Maybe you got enough light, and they would direct you to, maybe at some point they'll say, here's a place, now take your kid to this place, or you get this book, or so something every parent can do, and every child, you can do it with your children. Just, you know what, when you say grace at the dinner table, you can also then talk to your angels as a family. I think that might be the best thing of all. That's better than a course, because the family's doing it together.
Let's stick to that part that you just said. How can we listen better to our angels? Again, we're so busy. We're around the dinner table. If we are lucky enough to be having dinner together, let's say we have that at least once a week, twice a week, maybe during the weekend.
Sure.
Would there be something that we could do all together while sitting on the table all together?
I think I would just do this exercise.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Wonderful. I can tell you definitely like to interview people, Swami. Tell me, people. I've been blessed with being of being able to know you for a few months already, and but not everybody is so lucky as I am. We just get to know you today on the interview, and we would definitely like, you're new to our Mindalia audience, and I would really like. I'm going to ask you a few questions. I hope that you don't mind, so that they get to know who Swami is really, for real. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna ask you is, we saw, our research showed, and I think that Paola mentioned it as well, that you are the orange cowboy, and obviously the first thing we see, it stands out, is when we see you, besides your background, we see that you're all in orange. Why is Swami wearing orange? And everything that we can see is orange. I don't know why.
Right. That's right. Everything is orange. Even my smartphone, my iPhone is orange.
Oh, awesome.
Well, orange for two reasons. One, for me personally, it's the color of joy. I used to see orange in my head, the color, and I said, oh, I feel so good. And then one day I was in a store and they had a t-shirt that was orange, and I said, look at that. Oh, so I bought that. And I loved it. I was thrilled. And then little by little, that store would carry other things, so hoodies and socks and sweatpants. And before you knew it, I had all this. Now, the other reason, because even then I was self-conscious about wearing so much orange. And then I said, in India, my guru recognized me as a Swami. And a Swami means a monk in India. And in India, the monks wear all orange. They wear orange shirt and orange robe. And he never said to me, you have to wear that. He never said anything. But as I said, well, that's in the West. I'm in the West. I can wear these Western clothes, and I'm orange. It brings me joy. And I'm a monk, so I'll honor both traditions. And that sort of got me past my feeling shy about standing out. So for those two reasons, being a monk and it being the color of joy for me, is why I wear orange.
And what kind of monk are you, Swami?
Well, I'm not sure how esoteric to get. I follow the traditions of India. My guru said you don't have to change your religion. So I'm a monk of love, I suppose, is what I'd say. The monk of light, bringing love and light to people. The love of light to people.
Excellent. And why those wings behind you?
Oh, you see my wings? I thought I had them. Didn't know they extended.
No, you did a very bad job hiding them. I'm sorry.
This is actually the set of my TV show. So
okay.
I share that with you. Because recently I was offered this TV show. And after I got off the phone, the angel said to me, so what are you going to call the show? I said, oh, that's a good question. Do you have any recommendations? And they said, well, there's a saying that says, they said, how did you get to the show? I said, well, the angels you gave me, you brought all this, you made all this happen. They said, well, the expression, write what you know about. And I said, okay, so I'll make the show about talking with angels, because they're the ones who got me to this point at this stage in my life. I've been through many stages, but the angels are at this stage, and they're very happy with that. The angels bring so much joy, and instantly, and so much giggles and laughter, and we need so much of that these days. And people are afraid. The research shows people are shy and embarrassed and feel guilty about being joyful. And women are more guilty than men about being joyful. And it's our natural, it's our birthright. And so what better way to have a life than to help people laugh and be joyful and connect to their light, to their source.
You mentioned that you are on a particular stage. You mentioned that you're translating your book into Spanish, that you have to this TV show. What else have your angels shared with you about this particular stage in your life, Swami, that you can share with us?
Sure. Well, I also wrote a screenplay, and I have a director and a producer in Hollywood who are attached to the movie. And we're going to do an independent movie so we can keep the purity of the idea. So we're now attracting investors to put up the funds so we can start shooting the movie. And all of this are the TV and the movie are really big ways of reaching the masses. To say, everybody, I've got a loving announcement. Since December 23rd, 2012, we are in an age of celebration. It's the dawning of a new age. It's still morning. Only a few of us are awake. It's time. The work of today is to play. And so I can't think of better ways to entertain through entertainment to give people the joy and the laughter. My movie is about laughter. To say, wow, you know, it's okay. It's okay. And when enough people, the TV show is in 162 countries, thousands and millions of people could be watching it. Imagine, you know, if you're in a soccer game, you know, football game, you call it in Europe, and the fans are shouting, go, go, go. You've got the home team advantage. You know what a crowd can do to inspire. And imagine millions of people on the show at the same time playing the game saying, angels, bring me joy. It amplifies the whole world. Everybody's in joy. Even people who aren't watching the show, and everybody starts feeling better. It's called the 100th monkey effect. When enough people, not everybody, just a small 10% or so of the population is doing something like this, the whole population wakes up to it. So we could really be in peace and joy and in a world peace very quickly this way.
Wow. Can you how secret is the screenplay, is the movie? What can you tell us about the movie?
Sure.
You really left us thinking.
Okay. Yeah, well, it's the every man, every woman story. It's a comedy about, in this case, it's about a man who's a researcher, very logical, very rational, and he thinks he's got the answers to the world's problems. And he puts it on Facebook, on YouTube, and nobody watches his videos. And he doesn't understand it. He's caught up in his mind. He's out of touch with his heart. And then he runs into a very eccentric, eclectic earth angel who says, oh, your heart's about to open. And he scoffs at all that, but his heart starts to open, and how he has to deal with that and come to terms with who he is and his gifts from childhood that were drummed out of him. Everything we talked about, that's ripe for humor, you know. So that's the comedy ensues from learning to be ourselves and show up authentically, listening to our heart and mind together, balanced.
Wow, incredible. Do you have a time frame? You said you're right now in the stage of looking for investors, right, for the movie?
Right. Yeah, so once we get the initial investment, we will start putting the screenplay into a shootable format for the director to put it in shot form. And then when we get the full money, we know how to save money. We can have it look like a Hollywood movie at a fraction of that cost. And so it should take fairly quickly. We could probably get the movie done within, I'm guessing, a year or less.
Nice. Good.
The technical part is not my side of it. So
excellent. I understand. You mentioned before something that really, grabbed my attention, which was when you said that you started meditating in the 70s.
Right.
As you said before, also, yoga, meditation centers are really in our neighborhoods, not right now, but not before. Could you share with us some of those anecdotes that, this spiritual life that you have had, this life of, helping people with their eating habits and Ayurveda and all those things that you just mentioned? Could you share with us some of those anecdotes that you definitely remember and you wouldn't mind sharing with Mindalia TV audience?
How some of the clients, the effects with some of the clients, you mean?
Yes, whatever stands out in your life.
Okay, so
that you would like to share.
I'm going to say, angels, what would you like me to share right now? So one thing they're sharing with me is I had a client whose child, they brought their child in, and I forgot what you actually called it. It's kind of like ADD, but literally she would bounce off the wall. She would sit on the couch, run to the wall, back off, back to the couch. She wasn't in school. She couldn't stay in school. Her mother did some research and found that she actually had mercury in her brain. And for several reasons, from the shots, but also there was a dumping ground near where they lived where there was mercury. And I consulted with a colleague of mine in Ayurveda from India, and we began to give her herbs to detox the body of mercury. And a few years later, she emailed me and she said, the girl is so good that we put her back in school, but because we live by a mercury dump, we moved to a natural place in the country, and she's back in regular school and she's just fine. It's like, wow, what a cool thing that was. Nice,
very nice. Any funny stories that you remember?
Funny stories. Well, this is sort of a funny story. I had a client come to me. I had a woman come to me, yoga teacher, and she said, and she was desperate and she was frustrated, and she's saying, I have this dry throat, and I've been to all the famous people, the healers and the psychics, and nothing works. What are you going to do? You know, she kind of daring me. So, you know, I looked within and I said, okay, what's the deal? I turned on my intuition screen. And so I asked her some questions. I said, so tell me what your day is like, you know, because it's not magic. Well, I do 4 or 5 or 6 yoga classes a day, and I teach them these breathing things every class. So I said, okay, I've got the answer, but if I tell you, it's going to pull the rug out from under you. Because it's not, you know, she said, what is out there? What's the problem out there? And I said, I'll tell you the answer as long as you know it's going to pull the rug out from under you. So I wanted to prepare her. So she goes, okay, I'm prepared. I said, you do these 5-minute breathing exercises or 10-minute breathing exercises all day, every day. That's why your throat is all dry. I don't have to give you herbs or medicine or spells or anything. And you could see her just go, whoa. And a few years later, I got a letter from her thanking me, and she does a little yoga now, but she went back to school for massage, and she just brought more balance to her life.
Wow. That was an easy one for you.
Well, if you listen, you know, if you listen,
exactly.
you listen, people will tell you they'll self-analyze what's going on with them. You just have to be there to hear it.
Excellent. Okay, good. So we're now going to go for the questions from the audience.
Terrific.
Okay, so just 1 second. I'm going to change gears a little bit here. Okay, so here I go. A few have names. Other are anonymous. So I'll start with the anonymous. The first one says, how would you connect with your intuition in your daily life? How to connect with our intuition in our daily lives? That's what it says.
Yeah, it's sort of like we did with the angels. If you're not comfortable talking to the angels, if you think it's kind of crazy, then just, who do you talk to? If you talk to God, to say, please help me hear my intuition. If you don't believe in God, just whatever that greater source is, or just say to yourself, let me listen more, let me feel more. It's a feeling. Intuition is usually a feeling. But some people will hear the answers, some will see them, some will feel them, and some will just know things. And most people feel them. So start with something small, something important in your life, and just try and just say, from now on, I'm going to put my attention on that. Because whatever we put our attention on grows. And be easy with yourself.
Good. Another question is, how would you, I guess there's a little bit of, there are a few questions about difference between intuition and angels. How would you connect with your angels?
Yeah, we just did that. Really, it's that simple. And I'll give you another game to play because sometimes we're so blocked that we don't hear our angels. So this game is called Let's Pretend. And what you're going to do is, so let's say you want to get a job and you don't know what job to get or what career, what is your life purpose? And you say, angels, what's my life purpose? And you don't hear the answer. So now we're going to play a game, and you're going to just like a 6-year-old pretend, well, today I'm going to get up and I'm going to go out and I'm going to get on my horse and I'm going to ride to the village and I'm going to buy some paints and I'm going to pour paint. Before you know it, that pretend game will tell you what you love to do.
Interesting.
And that person would have been a painter or something of that nature. Yeah.
Interesting. Good. Let's go for the next one because there's plenty here. Are there guardian angels?
Sure. There are. Yeah. Guardian angels. There are all sorts of angels. And you don't even have to know who they are, where they are. You can ask them. I mean, here's a funny story. I was at the health food store, and there's a grandma with her 2 children. So I said to them, something, and they said, oh, there are angels? I said, yeah, everybody has angels. You can even ask them their name, thinking that they would go home and ask their name. And then I went off to talk to my friends. And when I came back, he says, oh, I got their names. And he says, one of them is called, and it was an unusual name. It was not an American name. It's not an English name. And the other one is called this. And they're not words that I've ever heard. He said the first one built the first half of my top half of my body. The other one built the bottom half of my body. It's like, wow. So guardian angels are there. We have our archangels, Michael. Michael said to me, if anybody can't hear their angels, I'll be the default. So just pray to Michael. And another funny story, a friend of mine called me on the phone. He says, listen, I was looking for a parking space in the city. I couldn't find any place. And finally, I found a place. When I got out of the car, I was right in front of St. Michael's Church. So I went in. I said, well, Michael brought you there. Now let's talk to Michael. And we played talking with our angels. And he got some answers. And it was amazing. So they're there. And it's so much fun and funny the way they navigate our lives that if we let them, it's fun, it's joyful, it's helpful, it's a win-win for everybody.
That's actually my question. It's nobody's question. Like a follow-up. How far can you go? Can you really ask any sort of question to your angels?
Why not? Because they're there to help us, and from help us out of trouble to help us into joy, and wherever we are. That same friend said to me, it seems that people only pray to God and their angels when they're in trouble. So that's probably when you use them. I said, no, that's just when people use them. But you can use them to go forward with your life too. Don't wait for things to be trouble. Say, okay, what can I do to prevent trouble? And better than that, what can I do to have a great life?
Exactly.
And you could say, angels surround me. Millions and gazillions of angels around me all the time. And I'm driving in the car. Angels protect my car. Angels protect everybody on the road. When you're standing in line at the store, angels bless the cashier, bless everybody in the store, bless me. You're actually helping everybody when you do that. You're bringing angels everywhere. And they could be the same angel. If you call Michael, he could be helping you, angel, and me, and a million people all at the same time. Because angels don't operate in our time-space continuum. They could be everywhere at once.
Wow. Amazing. Excellent. I'm going to do that, yeah. Swami. I'm going to do that myself. How does your intuition speak to you? You hear something, you feel it. How does that work? That's another question.
There's different things. So if you hear voices, friendly voices, if you hear voices that say hurt yourself or hurt somebody else, that's not an angel, that's not God, that's not anything to listen to. But any voice that you hear that is helpful to you or somebody else, we can take that to be from God. And if you're not sure, just say, I'm not sure who you are, but if you're not from God, then get out of my life. And then they have to go. It's just a law. So that's a good way that everybody could get started. I probably answered a lot of people's question right there.
Exactly.
So now, what was your question?
No, the question was how the different ways that intuition can actually speak to you.
Right.
Like you hear something, you feel it. How does that work? That was the
Sure.
question.
One morning I was in India and I heard they're here, and I knew who there was there, and I said, I'm still sleeping. Give me some more time. So I heard that. Other times, I saw the vision of me standing in an arena, the throngs of people, and I said, okay, God, I know you want me to help throngs of people. What's the best way? And then the TV and the movie stuff came up. So sometimes you'll see it, sometimes you'll hear it. Most people feel it, and you can develop all of them, but you can just start with the one that's strongest for now. Yeah.
Excellent. Let's go to the next one. Are there rituals or prayers that can be helpful to connect with God or our angels?
The best prayer is the one that comes from your heart, because sincerity is probably the best ritual. Be sincere as best you can. I used to do this. I'll be very honest with you. I'm a bit of a contrarian. If you say black, I'll say white. And so I played that game with my guru and with spirit too. And at one point when I realized I really want to listen to them more, I said, make me sincere in my questions, because I know sometimes I'm not sincere. And if I can't be sincere, then make me sincere. Okay. So I'm recognizing I'm a bit of a wise guy. So please, if it's not in my best interest, please remove that or diminish that. So bring in the good stuff. Yeah.
Excellent. Next one says, they're asking, can you see angels on meditations?
Can you see? Well, you can see, sometimes I'll drive in the car and I'll look up at the beautiful blue sky with the cumulus clouds, and I'll say, wow, that could look like an angel to me. So that I will see. Sometimes I'll sense they're around me. Whether we actually see them with our eyeballs, some people may see that, but usually it's our third eye. We see the vision in our movie screen in our brain. Some people who will see, some will hear, some will feel, some will smell. Like the Saint Teresa, people will smell roses when she's around them. So there's all kinds of ways to know your guides. Here's a great one. Let's say, Angel, you and I are talking and you said to me, I have a question about this with my career. And I said to you, well, I see an airplane going down to Mexico. And you said, oh, I got goosebumps. I got heart bumps. I got chills. That's a great way to let you know the angels are telling you just heard or got the right message.
I really resonate. That resonates with me a lot. Excellent. Next one. Are there angels that are alive, like other people around us? Can they communicate with us through other people? Is that a possibility?
Oh yeah, that's the one. I love this question. First off, we have earth angels. This man who's talking to me right now, I call him an earth angel. I say angel. His name is Angel. Come on, let's go. There are people who adjust when you're around them. They make you happier. They make you smile. They somehow things go better and easier, or they introduce you to people. Those, I call them earth angels. Now, the other part of that is, just say that question again. I get so high off the answers.
Yeah. No, if there can be, angels who are alive, like other people around us can be angels. Can they communicate with us through other people? Angels can do that?
Angels can do some very funny things. I have a client, and I was telling them that he says, okay, so I want Bill to do this work for me. And I said, okay, yeah. Bill, I said, okay, Pete's going to do the work. He said, no, Bill. I said, okay, Pete. And I couldn't say Bill. And after the third time, I said, you know what? The angels are forcing me to say, do you know anybody named Pete? They go, yeah, there is a guy, Pete. He's coming here next week. I said, well, he's the one who's going to do the project. And it happened. You could take a pencil and paper and ask the angels to write things, and it's called automatic writing. Sometimes you will be listening to a song and it'll be the answer to what you're thinking about. You might hear the wind or a bird and get an answer from them. A friend could walk past you and say, hey, you know, whatever they say, and it's just the right word. So the angels orchestrate, and that's why it's so much fun and it's such a joy. And one of the themes here is we're never alone. We're always given things even before we know to ask for them.
Wonderful. Beautiful. Let's go for the next one. Are there evil angels?
No, by definition, angels are not evil. There maybe there's people with entities with wings, but you say, if you're not from God, you have to leave. If you're not of the light, depart. But they're not angels. Angels are pure.
There comes one question, which is really, that would be very difficult for me even to make a try, make an attempt to answer it. Did angels used to be humans?
Maybe. Well, I mean, there's different types. You have your archangels, and Uriel, Ariel, Michael. I don't believe they were ever human. I believe that there were one or two apostles that may have become angels along the way. So, but I don't. I'm a very practical person. If it helps me, great. If it doesn't help me, I don't care about the history or the theories of things. So if one of those apostles became an angel and says, I can help you, then I'm happy to, but I'm not going to ask them for their credentials because they want to help me. Go ahead, help me.
Of course. Do you have a favorite angel or archangel?
I do. I have. Well, I'll tell you a lovely story. A few years ago, I was taking my mediumship to a deeper level at a place called Lilydale, which is here in New York State. It's one of the preeminent mediumship training schools. And a medium said to me, you have this giant angel behind you, and proceeded to tell me things that happened in my childhood where I drowned twice and I went to heaven and I brought the light back. And my mission is to spread the light with the people. And my friend turns to me and says, is that true? And it took me 5 minutes before I realized it did happen. I fell into 2 swimming pools when I was a child. And somehow I just popped out. And they said, your angel's telling us saved your life. And so I said to my angel, who are you? And I kept hearing Uriel. And I kept saying, yeah, but I know Uriel, but who are you? And finally I said, okay, I get it. You're Uriel. I believe you now. So Uriel is my guardian angel. Usually a guardian angel is different than an archangel, but for some reason, for me, I have Uriel. I love Michael. And I work with whomever. So if I have a client and I'll say, okay, who's coming in to help? So it could be Raphael, it could be the healer, it could be Ezekiel. So whoever comes in, I'll work with them for my clients or myself. Yeah.
Nice. Next one. What does the new age mean? Can angels help us evolve in that new age?
That's what I believe they're doing. And the new age is the age of celebration, the age of joy. And they are so joyful. I think that's why more important than any other, for me, any other form of spiritual beings, ascended masters. I don't know anybody who's as joyful as the angels. So they are the ones who, it's like the instant expressway, the instant nonstop elevator to joy, to the new age. Yeah.
Nice. Beautiful. Another question. We have lots of questions. My God. Sure. Is there a major plan in Earth where angels are taking part of? You just maybe answered that question, right?
Answered, yeah.
Anyway. Excellent. Another question: how do you get more aware? Yeah, that's. Let's do it. Let's make that question again. How do you get more aware of the angels around you on your everyday life?
Well, first you ask for them. You start to sense them, and if you're really stuck, then just pretend they're there. Just start talking with them. Just, oh, How are you doing? I did this the other day. I have a friend and we were doing one of these live events like this. And I said, okay, so we're going to write some comedy. Let's call in the oh, here are the comedy angels. How are you doing? And they just became clearer and clearer. And I said, oh, there's some comedy angels from the Catskills, which is a region here in New York where the old Jewish comics used to come in and tell jokes. So if you're really stuck, just pretend and be childlike. And what this really leads to is being ourselves, being goofy, being silly, being childlike, loving ourselves. Self-worth is a big part of what the angels help us with. So if you're really stuck, then say probably embarrassed to be myself, be simple, to be vulnerable, to be joyful. So there's the big ding. You hear the ding there? That was the angels.
I don't know where that bell come from. I have no idea. But maybe they're talking to us. Yes, exactly.
That's how angels do talk to us that way. That answers the other question. When you hear a bell, you hear a ding. The angels are confirming you've just said something. You might hear a church bell. I said I was doing a workshop in Trinidad, Tobago, and I said something. This is the way it is, and all of a sudden the church bell started ringing. I go, see that? There's the confirmation.
Look at that. Another bell. Excellent. That was a question from Janine from LA, by the way.
Hey,
then we have a guy from, or a lady, excuse me, Logan from Texas, asking that he or she is saying that does not believe in angels. How can I know they exist?
Right. So Logan, Texas, whatever. I'm not sure what that is there. You just described the exact process of moving from your left brain to your heart, to your right brain. If you're going to be a scientist and say, I don't believe in it unless I see it, literally see it, you'll never get that proof. But if you use a scientific method and say, every time I listen to what I think may be my angel, life gets better, even though I don't see the angel, I see the results. It's replicable, it's verifiable, it's a valid scientific test. But if we insist on only being logical and rational and making the mystical fit that, it won't happen. Although I will say there's a lot of metaphysics being proved by quantum physics, by astrophysics today. So if you learn differently, I recognize and honor that. I would say there's a beautiful show on Amazon. You can buy it. It's with Morgan Freeman, and he's got a 2 or 3 season series about the scientists proving all the metaphysical things. So if you are of a scientific bent, there are ways to get into this door as well.
Excellent. Another question. Can angels connect with us through our dreams?
Yeah, oh, that's one of the best ways that they do reach us, because that's when our defenses are down. And for me, it's usually just that moment as I'm about to wake up. So I'm starting to become aware, but not so aware that I'm stuck in the 3D world. And I get most of my visions right then and there.
Talking about dreams.
Excuse me. It's really good to keep a little dream journal by your pillow and write down your smartphone and talk into it if you feel like talking. But start to write, keep track of your dreams. That's another way to see what happens and take action on them.
Yeah, I'm going to take the lead now, and I'm going to ask one question of myself, my own, related to dreams. I have to say, for some reason, I really don't remember my dreams. And I would love the angels to talk to me through my dreams or when I'm sleeping. Is there anything I can do? I can prepare myself so that when I go to sleep, maybe when I wake up in the morning, I can say, yes, I remember that dream that I had.
Yes.
Does it make sense at all?
Yeah, it's a very great question. The first thing is keep a journal by your bed and tell the angels, I'd like to, when you can make me ready, I'd like to start to hear your messages, because I want to help the world. I want to help my family. So as I go to sleep tonight, the last thought I have is, angels, please, if it's in the highest purpose, come and talk to me. And if you're already talking to me, then let me hear it and let me write it down and let me, and I promise, I give you my word, I will do what I can. So if you say to me, I have a dream about the boat dock, then tomorrow I will go down to the boat dock. So I'll promise to take action. I'll promise to do something to him. I don't want to just say I want a better life. I promise that I will follow through, as crazy as it might sound. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. What about near-death experiences? Are they related to, or do we meet with angels when we have these near-death experiences?
We could, certainly. I mean, I described my 2 near-death experiences, and Uriel didn't say that I saw the angels. They said I went to heaven and saw the light and came back. But Uriel pulled me out of the water both times. Maybe I was aware of her, or to me it's a her or him. Everybody will have a different experience when they have a near-death experience. And there are experts who have written all sorts of books on this, so you can go deeper into that. But always don't try to fit your experience into what other people say, including me, because your experience will be uniquely yours.
Okay, excellent. Let me go to the next question. What can you say about finding abundance in life and the role that the angels play on that?
Well, the angels help us find our abundance, help us say, joy. When we are in joy, that is the best magnet of abundance, of love, of joy, of wellness, of money, of ideas to help the world. The more joy we have, the more people want to be around us, the more unique we are. And so the angels, I don't know anybody that helps us that much for this time. They're just...
Okay, excellent. We have a lot of questions tonight. Are there people who channel angels?
Sure. Oh yeah, there are people. There are courses you could get certified in angel, talking to your angels. There are mediums. There are channelers. There are certified angel talkers. So yeah, Google them in your town, and you'll find them somewhere close to a city.
I keep talking to my angels, but I don't think I'm doing it right. Nothing seems to work. What can I do?
Yeah, so at this point, when I used to do this, I'd say, make me hear you, even because I had a habit of not listening. And I recognized that. I said, I know I don't listen. I don't know how to listen. Please help me, teach me how to listen. Sometimes they tell us stuff, but we don't want to hear that answer. So it's like, angels, should I go to school or should I go fishing? But tell me to go fishing. And the angels say, go to school. You say, angels, I don't hear the answer. I don't hear the answer I want. There's, for some people, it could be that. Sometimes the answer, the silence means it's time for us to figure something out, or it's time for us to take action. They may have told us something over and over and over. And it's like, well, if you're not going to take action on it, we'll just wait until you do. So for you, and my own intuition tells me, I sense that that's your situation, whoever's asking this question. Think back or say to your angels, I'm sorry if I haven't been listening. I think maybe you've been telling me and I've been ignoring it. If you tell me now one more time, and I hear it, I will take action on it. And make me sincere enough to follow through. That's how I had to do it. I was a tough case.
Super. Are there archangels that can help with healing? What about cancer?
Yeah, well, Raphael is the archangel of healing. And sometimes Merlin comes in, Merlin the magician. I will tell you, there's all sorts of magical ways to heal from everything. And years ago, I used to do a blessing circle. And the person would say, I have an issue. and everybody in the room would just silently for a minute send them blessings, however they did it. And one day a woman said, my mother just got re-diagnosed with leukemia. We sent her blessings. She wasn't even in the room. 7 days later, the doctor said, I don't know what happened, but you're cancer-free. You have no leukemia. So yes. And the way we heal, just as an extra bonus on healing, we don't think about the illness. We ask to be healed, and then we look to where we're going to go. Imagine you're healed. If God, angels just saved your life's worth something. Why are you on this planet? And this is a really big question. And if you don't know, ask for the help. But what are you going to do on this planet? Why do you want to live? And when we start to think about the beauty and the mission and the purpose, cancer in Ayurveda is a loss of life purpose. We don't grow something in the world, so it's suppressed and it's grown inside of us. There's a lot to think about there. A lot of solutions.
A lot to think about it, absolutely. I agree with that. How to know how to forgive someone? Can intuition help?
Wow, that's a great question. The funny thing is, when we forgive, what we're doing is we're forgiving ourselves. We're releasing ourselves. We don't forgive the action. The action was a horrible thing, but not a nice thing to do. But if we have a hatred in us against that person, it's in our heart. It's not in them. We don't know what's in them, but in our heart, we're holding this hatred. There's a saying that says, if you're spitting acid at somebody, you'll hurt yourself more than the few drops that fall on them. So you want to forgive yourself for whatever part. You want to forgive, you want to let go. You want to say, okay, I can't hold this because it prevents me. And I'll leave that person's fate to God and the angels. I'm not the judge and jury. And you know, I taught that last summer at Lilydale. I had taught a beginner's meditation course. And one of the women was saying, my in-law, I have this issue with my in-law. And we worked through her forgiveness. And as soon as the class ended, she got a text from this woman inviting her to dinner, and they hadn't talked in years. That's how fast things can happen.
Wow.
Forgiveness and guilt, those are two big ones that I can do courses, day-long courses on those things. Because there's so many people that want to address those things.
Exactly. Is it true that angels have colors? Is asking another of our viewers. Yeah, colors. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sure, why not? You know, whatever you want to see, whatever you see is true. And I mean, I tend to see them more as light beings, but that's just me. You know, so again, listen to it, trust in what you experience.
Another memory of our...
Because for you, that might be something with colors. You might be an artist. You may be a color designer, an interior decorator. Why do you see color and I see light? It probably relates. They're teaching you, they're training your eyes, your art, your palette for something colorful. Maybe you're a chef, in a high-end chef, and the presentation of the colors in the food. So use that as a tip of a direction for you. Yeah.
Excellent. Next one. When I was little, I would feel a hand on my back when my grandma passed. Was that her?
It could have been her. It could have been an angel soothing you. Either or.
What are another question? What are the messages angels had given you? You personally?
Yeah. So the biggest one for me was in January 1st, 2010. It was right in the morning of New Year's Day. And I was in that early morning, I was just about waking up, and I saw myself in an elevator and the doors opened. And I was looking out at Eden, the jungle of Eden. And all the angels, the hosts of angels, were on either side. And they were singing 2010 is 2012. And I wrote a song about it. And they were telling me that 2012 is the age of celebration. And it's already started in 2010. So that's when I got the new information that flies in the face of what most people talk about, suffering and sadness and war and seriousness. And You know, a lot of people who want to do good in the world, they become so serious because the challenges are so great. They forgot how to have fun. They forgot they started this whole thing with fun. So if you remember one thing from the angel's message is have fun in your own way, whatever makes you fun.
Fantastic. Do you think, another question, do you think this new age is the start or end of something else?
Well, both.
Is the Earth going to die?
No.
We have a pretty interesting audience tonight, definitely. Thank you very much for so many questions.
You know, when I was a kid back in the 50s, there were people standing on the street with signs, the world is going to end tomorrow. And they're still doing it. And, you know, there's the Y2K bug in 2012. And these are people who are still caught up in the fear. And the world that's ending, my friend, is the world of fear. And the world that's awakening is the world of joy and celebration. There is no fear because, in theory anyway, we're eternal, we're consciousness. We've never born, we're never died, we're soul, we're spirit. And when the body dies, our soul goes up to heaven. And we know this because we talk to the people in heaven who have passed and come back and give us actual proof. They tell me things about my clients that they happen to them that I have no clue of. How would I know these things? You know, like I had a client, I said, I see your aunt in a checkered black and white apron. And my client says, nah, that's not true. And then she called me a few days later. She says, I talked to my other aunt. She goes, she did. That was her favorite apron, a black and white checkered apron. You know, so we have proof that they're still, my parents are telling me we're still alive. We're in heaven. And we're in a place just like we were when we died. We loved it there so much. So there's proof of everything if we allow for something a little bit beyond the rational brain.
Well, that was the last question, so I would like to actually add a few of mine now. The first one, with your permission, because I know that we've asked you a lot of different things. I mean, I really have to thank our audience for all those questions.
Thank you all.
Absolutely, very, very good questions. Where can we find what you do today? Where can we go? You mentioned your book. You've showed us your book. You've mentioned your show. That's reaching out to a lot of countries. I think that we are overlapping in there. I think we're both helping a lot of people in many different countries, which is extraordinary. Where else can we find Swami, the Orange Cowboy?
Sure. Well, my books are on Amazon, all the Amazons in all the countries. I have about 5 books out there now. I think here's just a few more. So you'll see them all there. I have a couple more coming up. They just gave me a book. They wrote a book for me in my head one morning. I got up, they said, write this down, and I had a whole new book. I just have to find the time to put it on paper now. I have a website called orangecowboy.com, and that'll show you the basics of what I do. I have a site off of that, which is the shop and an academy where you can take. I have a course, 21 Days of Joy, to a complement to the book, that every day you get a video from me and you just watch it, and it's an exercise and a meditation and an action step. And then you can, on my Facebook page, if you get to my Facebook page, you'll see sometimes 2 to 6 times a week I'm doing my TV show in raw form, and you'll see Angel is there, and I interviewed him last week. And this week, I think I have 6 or so interviews before they go on to TV, so you can watch them in advance. The easiest way to reach me is at Facebook / and then my name, which I should probably make it shorter, but Swami Sadashiva Tirtha. Sorry, wasn't thinking too clearly back when I put that in there. Or Monk Medium is my fan page, or whatever you call that, group page. But the show goes live on my name page, Swami page, and those are some of the. You email me if you say, and I can get you the link. If you go to my Orange Cowboy site, I'm offering a free gift, a gift for everybody. You just put your name and an email, and you'll get a digital download link to listen to a Tibetan bowl meditation that I created. It's a sound bath, and you just listen, and all the stress gets washed away, all the visions come. It's just a very lovely MP3 that you can listen to.
Extraordinary. Well, Swami, it's been an amazing and conversation with plenty of wisdom. We've been able to address so many different questions from our audience. We're really thrilled. We've been really blessed.
Yeah,
and the excitement that we thought we were going to have has actually happened, tenfold. So really, Swami, it's been a big, massive pleasure to have you with us. I'm sure that our audience has also appreciated with so many questions. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And again, from here, Swami has mentioned a few times that exactly Mindalia television originated in Spain. It's extremely, let's say, spread all over the world with millions of viewers every month. We are here in the US. We are broadcasting live every single day. We are starting right now to do it. So maybe a few days we're missing, but the idea is that every single day, starting 6 p.m. Pacific, every single day, we have a team in Los Angeles. Actually, Paola is in Los Angeles. I'm personally in Dallas, Texas, and we have also part of our team in Florida. So we are thrilled to be here. We are thrilled to have had again Swami as a invited and as an interview tonight.
You and Laura and Paolo and all of Mindalia for doing what you're doing. You're a huge presence on the planet. You're definitely living your mission and helping people who are out there and don't know where to go. They can find you on your YouTube channel. So thank you for doing what you're doing, and thank you for inviting me to be a part in some small way of your great channel there. And continued blessings for all of you and growth into the new age. And thank all of your viewers who've taken the time to watch and ask really good questions. And I wish all of you joy in your life too.
Excellent. So thank you, Paola, again. Thank you, Mirna in Florida. Thank you, Laura in Spain. It's really late that right there. And again, this is Angel Ribo hosting this wonderful interview tonight with Swami and from Mindalia TV. Thank you very much for being here tonight, and see you soon.
Joy, joy, joy.
Thank you. Joy, joy, joy. Thank you very much.